Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Friday, January 20th. And if we look at the headlines this morning, fog and some rain out there this morning. I think most areas through this evening will pick up around a quarter to a half inch of rainfall. And again, a spring weekend coming up. We'll have some scattered showers about the area with temperatures in the upper 40s into possibly the low 50s. And again, with some of those scattered showers and about. But don't worry if you like winter. Winter weather comes back by late next week. First, I think it takes us down in a couple of stages to near normal to slightly below normal, perhaps as we get into the beginning of the following week. One thing we're going to keep an eye on for either very late next week or early the following week, I think we have potential for a major winter storm to develop across the southern U.S. and then move towards the east-northeast, either into the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, or Midwest. Again, not so much as to where, but whether or not the storm develops, and then as we get closer in time, we can track it. But I do believe on the heels of some very cold air out ahead of that, I think there's going to be a significant winter storm across the U.S. If we look at the normals of the day, our normal high is 29, the normal low is 13, but you can see back in 1994, 22 degrees below zero, and this is the air mass as we get into the beginning of February that could produce these types of values. If you can lay down some fresh snow cover, have some calm winds, we could certainly see air masses that could bring temperatures well below zero. Again, plenty of time to watch that. Until then, it's going to be pretty mild out there. As far as across the U.S. yesterday, the highest temperature 85 degrees at Miami, Florida. The low temperature -8 degrees at Big Piney and Pinedale, Wyoming. If we look at conditions around the area here and across the MIC area here yesterday, the highest temperature is 42 degrees, the low temperature 30 at Marlette. But again, temperatures yesterday mainly in the upper 30s to low 40s. And if we look at the conditions around the area this morning, you can see temperatures quite mild for this time of year in the low 30s. And again, with that rain moving in, we'll see temperatures get up to around 40 or into the 40s, maybe the mid 40s. And again, you can see on radar this activity that's moving in from southeast to northwest as that low pivots moves into Indiana. And again, that's going to throw that precipitation back in across much of the area here for today into this evening, with conditions improving late tonight. And as far as freezing rain potential, you can see some of the interior areas of north central and northern Michigan could see a glazing. But again, right now it doesn't look like that big of a deal. But if you're up in the northern portions of the state, do take care, especially on bridges, overpasses, and rural roads along with dirt roads. And you can see on this morning's weather map that low pressure system that we tracked all the way from southern Texas is now up into Indiana. And again, it's weakening, and a new system, a stronger system, will develop and move up towards Iowa, and that's going to spread that rain into the area here over the next 24 hours. By tomorrow morning, that low pressure system with a warm front now coming into lower Michigan. And if you're on the south side of this warm front, you can see temperatures again into the 50s as we get into Saturday. A good chance, I think, we'll see temperatures in the low 50s across southern parts of lower Michigan. And again, all along the Gulf Coast over the next 72 hours from Louisiana all the way into Georgia, look for a chance of heavy rains and severe thunderstorms. If we look at the temperatures on Saturday from the GFS, you can see the area of yellow would be mid 50s, with low 50s coming up into much of the area from around Lansing south, and close to 50 as you get up across the Saginaw Bay area. And for as highs on Sunday, you can see temperatures a little bit cooler, low 50s across the southern part of the state, mid to upper 40s across the northern portions of the area. And you can see where the area of snow cover still lies, with temperatures mainly in the 30s up there. And if we look at precipitation here from incept over the next 7 days, you can see much of the Great Lakes, about a half to an inch of rain is expected, with 2 to 4 inches of rain across the areas across the east and central Gulf Coast states up into the southern Appalachians. And again, if we look at the Southern Oscillation Index, you can see the big crash that we've had, especially over the last 3 days. Again, that's a sure sign that we're going to have a significant trough over the U.S. in that 10 to 12 days, but that started back here. And you can see, I think we go into a somewhat normal pattern as far as winter conditions as we get into later next week, next weekend, and then we're going to watch for a significant storm, I believe. And the behind it, I think, is when we're going to see very, very cold air move into much of the center and the eastern portions of the U.S. And again, in the 6 to 10 day outlook, I think this cold air actually probably is going to be displaced a little bit farther east than what is shown here, with warmer than normal areas now being squeezed off to the northeast. And as we get to the 8 to 14 day outlook, again, the thing we've been talking about for the last week or two is that the big upper ridge is going to continue to migrate to the northwest, and as it does, that's going to allow undercutting with the cold air coming underneath that ridge of high pressure. And again, this could be a pretty active storm track in the beginning, and I think we'll have at least one major winter storm pull out of the area. That'll tug down that cold air, and then I think we develop a trough across the Great Lakes. I think this is the area that could see some of the coldest temperatures compared to what we have been seeing. As far as the precipitation, again, at the beginning of the 6 to 10 day outlook, I think we're going to see mild and rain, but I think we'll see a significant storm towards day 10, and then behind that, that cold air. I don't believe that we're going to be this dry coast to coast. I think there's going to be plenty of precipitation across the Great Lakes, especially in downwind of the Great Lakes. As far as weather watch this morning, again, mainly fog conditions across much of the plains up into the upper Midwest, across the Great Lakes, and we got one area of freezing rain advisory across northeastern Wisconsin. Thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a great day, a great weekend, and 73s to all.